Through the ups and downs, we stand tall in this journey of growth. Day by day, through the ups and downs, we stand tall in this journey of growth. Day by day.
Good morning.
Are you ready to put on your fake identity?
Yeah, I'm going to put on my fake identity today. Mask. I'm wearing a mask today.
Oh, yeah, it's a bad day.
I've had better days, not going to lie.
It's
And the
also-
day's just begun.
And the weather's matching it
Yes.
for us today.
Pouring down rain. Can you hear the rain in the background? Because I haven't got my headphones on, so...
No, but it's not very nice. Okay, we're talking about identity.
Yes. What identity? Do you have different identities?
Oh.
Sorry, I've gone straight in there. I didn't have looked at anything.
I don't know. I don't even know where to begin, but I can begin with a quote that I like.
Go on then.
Which is relevant. And then you can try and work it out for the next half hour. It actually took me about a year to work this out, and suddenly one day I was out running and I went, oh, that's what that means.
Oh, great. So it's going to take me about 10 years. So
no,
brilliant.
I think it'll probably take you about 1 minute, like it probably does most people. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I'm who I think you think I am.
Yes.
So you've got it already, have you?
Yeah, that's true. And then but then that's why you are, other people, like all different people see you in all different identities, don't they?
Yeah.
Because obviously you know me from working with me and then other things. So that's that identity. And then other people know me from, I don't know, say at the gym or something like that. So they know me as that identity because they don't know me in any other capacity.
Do you think you're a
Other
different
than being
person?
really shit at weightlifting.
Oh. Are you?
I wasn't the best.
Oh.
I had a rotary cuff injury many years ago. You're on
how's your identity differ then between the gym and the
Well, I think
work
that people at the gym only see you, they don't know, I wouldn't necessarily know what, I don't sit there talking about work. You just go there to, like, well, not at the moment. When I used to go to CrossFit, you just go there to work out. You don't go there to sit talking about your job, say, if that's how you identify, or anything else really.
Do you think you're a different person?
I suppose so, yeah.
Oh, now I want to know who.
Yeah, I do. I do think I'm.
Angela
I do
is.
think I'm different in different environments. Definitely. That's why I think that's why this came up in the first place, because I was maybe talking to our friend about different things, and I ChatGPT for those people that are listening.
Unaware that we've only got one friend and it's a mutual one.
One sides with me, but yeah. So I just think it's. I think in different environments I've got different identities then. Like I think some people I've met, I remember people that I've met before, say I've met them I remember one girl, I met her in a beach club in Ibiza, and she, like, partying, and then when she found out what I did for a living, she was like, I can't believe that you work in corporate and whatever else. I thought you'd work in, what did she think I'd work in? She said something like PR and advertising or something. Apparently that's what they do. I'm talking about 10, 15 years ago, before the beach clubs were all really poncy. So that's an example for, like, personally, but I don't know. What about you? Do you think that you have different identities in different like, going to your quote then?
Yeah, I think I definitely have in the past. I didn't think I was very good at showing my authentic self. And then someone
You've had training.
I've had training now. Much better. Someone once told me that they think I'm the most authentic person they know. I thought, how do you know? Because you don't see me in other places. But anyway, I took that as a compliment. But I don't think it's necessarily true. And then when I did my authentic relating training, I got feedback at the end, which I was really not happy about, where the woman said that she hadn't got to know me and she felt like I was hiding behind a veil of professionalism. And I thought, well, I think I have
But then
done
is
that in the
but
past.
then is that because she knew what you did for a living? Like,
I
if people
did.
don't know what you do for a living, I think that intimidates people because they think you're constantly reading them. That's what I get.
No, funnily enough, they did know, and that's why she thought it. But there were other people on there, and I I didn't think I'd mentioned my job that much, but other people, I felt like other people had mentioned theirs. They were also, some other people were also therapists, and I did mention it, and that's why she thought that I was like trying to not show myself because I was trying to be the therapist, I guess. I don't really know.
Hmm.
But what was strange is I had been 100% myself, in my opinion, that I'd been totally authentic. So it was interesting. She did acknowledge that she may have been, that was maybe how she felt about herself. And she was seeing that in me as well. But anyway, it's interesting because that someone had perceived me to be showing a different identity or not showing my true self.
But then does that mean that that's true because that's how she sees you, or does it,
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was true.
like, for her, I mean, like, that's her view on your identity. That's her truth, and
Yeah,
then yours is different.
yeah, um, yeah. I think I do have different identities though in different environments.
Hmm.
Um,
Like, more reserved, do you
I'm
think, or
I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be myself in like who I'm trying to not. I don't know. Is there a difference between um, identity and kind of being a different person in different environments?
yeah, I suppose because, I can't go being like my jokey self if I'm in a corporate environment in a important meeting, which is how I would behave normally, because I'd probably get fired.
Yeah,
Like, you couldn't, and that is my identity, is being like, bit of banter, but there's a time and a place for it.
yeah. Is there a difference then between your identity
And
and
then how your
and
behavior,
authenticity? Yeah,
authenticity, yeah. Because you can't, like, your real self, or you can, but then maybe I'm in the wrong environment then in that case. If
possibly.
you can't be your full identity, your true identity, are you in the wrong environment, or should you mold to meet?
What is identity anyway?
Yeah. Is it, well, like you said, is it how you see yourself, or is it how you see other people see yourself?
And is it just literally your name and your is it like your name, your job, and your other roles like parent or sister or daughter or whatever?
Hmm.
And then is who you are a different thing?
Oh, I listened to a podcast on this the other week, and I can't think of it. I don't know if it was Jordan Peterson talking about this. Taking that back, and then you take it back to this, and then you take it back to that, and then it might have been Joe Dispenza, actually. Probably was him, wasn't it? Because then your consciousness, and then what even is that?
Well, yeah. So can you have an identity and then be a different person? Like, not can you hold your identity throughout all of your different personas? Would persona be the right word, do you think?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then I've got a question here. So is it something we discover or something we create? Because, like, so I'm going to use a pop culture example. Beyonce, she's Beyonce, like normal Beyonce, and then she's got Sasha Fierce when she's on stage, type thing,
Mm.
to make her the persona, or like the identity of being like some badass.
Who's the other one who did that? Hannah Montana, was it?
Yeah, but I think that was more for,
Miley Cyrus? Was that
yeah,
Miley
Miley
Cyrus?
Cyrus. Yeah, that was for a TV show. Still the best one ever. When Sean was a kid, I'm telling you.
I never ever
That was
watched it, so I
brilliant.
don't really
It's
understand
brilliant.
it. But
As an adult watching a kids program, that Sean's time of being a child was the time to be alive. Classical musical. Do you know what I mean? Anyway,
yeah, okay.
Hannah Montana, yeah. She was but then when you look at it, like, it was clearly her. So you'd have to have been really stupid not to realise that.
Okay. Yeah, I find the whole thing I think I need to watch it.
You do, it's brilliant. The girls love it.
But they're two different identities, and they are completely different. Like Beyoncé, she brings out characteristics of herself, or do you think it's a different identity?
Yeah, you see, I don't know. See, then you've got others. So in the pop culture stuff that's coming up on mine, you've got like people reinventing themselves. So then, what does that mean? Your underlying, like, are you reinventing your outward self, as in, like they're saying, Madonna, constant evolution? Because she went from this to that to this to that. But then, who is she really? Is that her identity, or is her identity what she's displaying to the
Is her
world?
identity like mother of lots of children, singer,
Hmm.
and then all of the other philanthropic work that she does? Is
Yeah.
that her identity, and then her personality is something else? What's your identity?
God, you're asking me at the wrong time today, aren't you?
Well, maybe now it's the right time. Perhaps we should just have a therapy session.
I don't really know. Well, it's kind of like I suppose for me, I honestly do think it's like the you don't, like, you're not going to go to somebody that you don't know that well. Like, I'll tell you everything, but I will not go. There's certain things I hold back from people. So does that mean I'm not being authentic? Because I won't sit there spilling my heart out to, I don't know, somebody that I don't know that well. Maybe there's trust issues around that. I don't know. But then why would you? Not everyone wants to sit there listening to you, like, all your inside thoughts, do they?
Yeah, the
A
more we
lot of people
talk
don't
about
have inside thoughts, do they? They just have nothing thoughts.
yeah, the more we discussing it, I'm feeling like identity might be kind of what you put on your CV,
Yeah.
which doesn't necessarily include everything, but
No, it doesn't.
like
Especially not someone at the moment.
parent, partner, female. That's like my identity. The stuff that's on your ID card, of which we don't have in this country.
Well, I've got my driving license, actually. I don't know where it is. I get to use it the other day.
Just have a look at it so you can check your ID and
Yeah,
tell
I
us what your
can't remember
identity
who
is.
I am. Well, the High Court's confirmed that I am 100% a woman, so that's
So
reassuring.
you can tick one thing off then.
Yeah.
Well, so is that your identity? Can you then change that?
Well, that's
Wow.
exactly it. Do can some, like, say, like COVID, for example, like, did that change some people's identity? Because a lot of people now don't want, they don't want that. I suppose they got to spend a lot more time at home with their families. And for some people that was good, some people that was bad. Maybe it made their identity realise that they don't want to be working full time.
Mm. This, I think,
Forced.
goes on to what we talked about before about the social construct
Mm.
and like the layers of identity. So you can start with really simple identification from when you're born, like date of birth, so age, sex.
But some people don't even like identifying as their age, do they? They'll lie about their age or not
Yeah,
want to tell people about their age.
so that's like, so then
I'm mid to late 40s.
I can't even remember what I think I'm 42.
I
Um,
forget sometimes.
um, but then some people take on other things as their identity, don't they?
Yeah, so I've got,
Like the social
yeah.
construct, and they embed it into their identity,
Yeah, so
and they
some people
can't
will be
separate it.
like, I don't know, they'll identify themselves, say, on social media, and I know you're not a massive fan, but like, I see this a lot. people will have things like ADHD mum. That's their title. That's their. You're like,
So
well,
they're
there's a
that
bit more
becomes
to you
their
than that.
identity,
That was
or
like,
there's less to you than that.
oh yeah. Without that,
Who are you?
yeah,
Can you be without that?
yeah. Well, it's like the old, yeah, I suppose, yeah. People then do become, yeah, their identity, like, because that's what, maybe, yeah, maybe they were nothing before that. Like they didn't have anything really to talk about, perhaps. But I don't know if that's kind of a status thing, is it?
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because they don't feel understood.
Mm.
They don't feel understood, but if they can put that prefix there, is it a prefix? That's like
Don't
Mr. and
know.
Mrs., isn't it? So I suppose it kind of is. If they can put that there, they feel like people might understand them.
Yeah.
I don't think that I view my identity as anything more than female, 42-year-old female. What about like chasing certificates? I was speaking to somebody yesterday who is like trying to get every certificate under the sun, and I've done that before as well.
Mm.
Well, and similarly to me, she finds that she can do the right thing to get the certificate, but isn't hugely bothered about like is purely doing it to get the certificate rather than to learn the stuff.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I think I can relate to that. And I think as well, there's, and I was talking to, my friend who's like, she's a bit nomadic kind of, and I think you've got friends particularly like this as well, but she's like, God, why are you like, she doesn't get it. Like, she's like, I don't like, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing like, just chill out. Like, what,
What are you trying to achieve?
yeah. She's like, but she's not in it. She wasn't being mean. She was
Yeah.
kind of like, and she's stripping it all back. And she's kind of like, she's going to do a barista course so that she can just travel around and make coffee in coffee shops. Like,
Yeah.
She's a
Yeah.
yoga instructor, so she can go and do a bit of that. And it's just all stuff that she can just, transferable skills that aren't necessarily going to make her millions, but but she's going to be able to travel around and just be happy and just be minimalist type thing.
So she has got lots of things, like she
Yeah,
is doing lots of certificates in the same way, but they're different because they're to give
yeah,
her freedom rather than to tie her
yeah.
down.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's good. Yeah.
But when I was going back to the certificate thing, if you get certificates, you can add it to your identity, can't you?
Well, yeah, without being trained in hypnotherapy, you wouldn't be a hypnotherapist, would you?
Yeah, but I don't mean like that. Like you can add these letters after your name
Oh,
and
I
stuff,
see.
and then it I think I understand from the way I feel, and I think from the way this other person feels that I was speaking to, that you can all. It's almost like trying to command respect until you realize it doesn't command any respect, and then you
Mm.
stop. No one actually cares.
Because you said that to me, didn't you? And he was like, yeah, no one cares.
Well, they care more, especially when I think about going to these hypno conferences, for example, and seeing the people talk. The people who get the most people going to watch them are the people who have a bit of fun, who don't even almost, who can't even. Well, I'm not saying they're all like this. I'm talking about one person I can think of in particular. Doesn't even work as a full-time hypnotherapist because they can't get enough clients to work full-time, but yet they get the most people in the room because so in one environment they're commanding huge amounts of respect. Their identity is one thing, but put them in another environment, it's not. But that I think when you add social constructs and add certificates and things like that, they can easily become part of an identity. But is it to try and make your identity better in a way, higher
Mm.
status?
Well, yeah, when you go back to all of the status aspect of it.
Did you read that book?
I've not finished it. I'm not far through it because I managed to get it on. Do you want to say what the book is?
And
I
I've
haven't got it up
forgotten the
there.
name. It's
Yes,
something about happy
let
hormones,
me
isn't it?
look on my because I got it on Kindle. It was free on Kindle, and I'd already bought. Yeah, because I tried to listen to it on Audible, and the voice was absolutely awful. Right, Habits of a Happy Brain by. Oh, hold on, it's just gone off the cover. Ah, can't see. Habits of a Happy. I don't know how to screenshot it. Oh, I can't see who the author is because it's underneath.
Loretta somebody, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's about you're happy. Retrain your brain to boost your serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphin levels.
Loretta Graziano Bruning. So I recommended this book to you over the weekend,
Yeah,
and it's such a simple, easy to read, isn't it? About your
yeah, yeah.
hormones. It's really, really simply done. But from having looked at the author's other books, which I haven't read, her niche seems to be status. And why
That
we
makes
want
sense into
status.
why how far I've got. I can't think how far in I am, but anyway, yeah.
And so she talks about how we get a serotonin. Serotonin is the happy hormone that we get a little burst of when we feel like our status has been raised, and it's because of it's for survival. Obviously, all of these hormones are survival based, and in primitive times when we evolved, we needed to have high status, or status benefited us because it kept us in the tribe, and we rely on the tribe for our survival. And that's still there, like that biology is still all there. So I think, she's quite clear in the book, isn't she, that you can pretend all you like you don't care about status, but
But it's the fact is
you
you do. Yeah.
everyone gets a little drip of serotonin when when something happens that makes them feel that they've improved their status, whether that's associating with someone of high status
Mm.
or having their own status improved through some kind of respect. Um, and so maybe when we view certain things as higher in status, we try and add them to our identity if we can, because it
Yeah.
makes us feel good for a moment. But then everyone's view on what status is different, right?
Well, this is it, isn't it? Like talking to people that don't want a lot of belongings, say, or like objects, for example, or not motivate. It's the motivation, isn't it, behind things, I suppose.
Like your friend, does she view she's maybe her high status comes from being a little bit different, a little bit,
Yeah.
she's found something that most people haven't.
Mm.
And she feels a little bit higher up the hierarchy because she's
Mm.
able to stand on her own 2 feet and not follow the crowd and go
Yeah.
and do these things. She's almost put herself at the top of the hierarchy
Whereas other
in her
people would
mind.
look at it and be like, "Good God."
Yeah. I just need my morning sneeze.
Oh dear.
Why does this happen every time? Perhaps I'm allergic to the cat. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Sorry, I should have muted myself.
Or I tell you what, there's something that's come up on here. Like, is your identity who you are when no one's watching? Like your true identity, rather than what's like so. My friend could be like, "Oh yeah, I'm training to do this. I'm going to," but like realistically, she could be sitting there thinking, "Oh, like." I'm not saying that's. I'm using that as an example of the type of thing that could be going through people's head.
Yeah. So you think
Like,
that well, you don't think this about
no,
her,
no,
but
no. I
you're
don't
just
think
using
her. I
her as
don't
an
think her.
example.
Just like if she wasn't her and it was just an example of a person, or
Like crafting an identity,
hmm,
like some of these, like you said, like Beyoncé.
yeah,
crafting an identity that you tell
When
other
no one's
people.
watching, is Beyoncé like just a mum? Not just a mum, that sounds really derogatory. But is she just like quite happy, just doing the mum stuff?
Is that
What's her
identity,
identity?
or
Sorry, I was sniffing.
is that identity, or she wouldn't deny she's a mum?
No.
She wouldn't publicly deny she's a mum and then go behind closed doors and
What children?
have all these kids. I'm wondering whether there's a difference between identity and kind of personality or characteristics. I don't know what that is. There a word for that kind of thing? Like who you are, as in not what would be written down on your CV as such, but who you present to the world. That's like your authentic self.
Mm.
That feels quite different. Like identity to me feels like the thing that you could list about yourself. If someone said, "Tell me about yourself,"
Oh,
in
so it's changeable, isn't it? You can change it.
what
Like,
your
say you're in prison, for
yeah.
example. You're a prisoner. You can't identify as anything else. I'm a prisoner. I'm in prison, aren't I?
But
Like, you can't be like,
could you identify as a
I'm a
35-year-old male who's a son of a teacher who
yeah.
a 35-year-old male who's a
But
son of a teacher?
when you get down to the meat of it, what are you? I'm in prison, so I'm a prisoner.
What about this stuff I've
Or is
read? I
that
can't.
looking at it the wrong way round? Because at the end of the day, you're circumstantially in prison and a prisoner, but realistically, you aren't a prisoner because you're not going to be there forever. Well,
There's
unless you're something very, very bad.
there's stuff, when I read a lot more parenting books than I read now, there's quite a lot of stuff about not telling the child they are something. And funnily enough, I had this conversation with someone yesterday who had a kind of altercation with their husband because the husband had said the children are selfish. And she said, "Can you please not say the children are selfish? Can you please say the children's behavior is selfish? Or when the children do that, that is selfish behavior," rather than labeling the children as selfish.
Mm,
And so that's a thing, isn't it? Like, what do you take on as your identity? People
yeah.
take on different things, don't they? Like, and say, "I am that thing." Like, I am
Or
anxious.
they
I
hear
am anxious.
voices.
Hear voices again. You talking about this again? Stop disclosing it on the podcast.
But like from childhood as an adult, you will hear the if that's the way your parents spoke to you, perhaps that's what you'll take on as your identity as an adult because
Exactly.
yeah.
So you saying that thing like they are a prisoner, like they are in prison at the moment.
Hmm.
But when they is
Don't call them
identity.
prisoners.
Pardon?
Don't call them prisoners.
Don't call them prisoners. Yeah. Can
Yeah,
you change your identity?
I think you can.
Oh, that's what you just said. I'm doing
Yeah.
that thing again, where you say something and
Oh
then
yeah.
I bring it up 10 minutes later. At least I caught myself this time.
And I don't even notice, so
I'm getting better.
I repeat myself anyway. So for me, it's
Oh, I repeat you too.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. UK
You
gold.
said you can change you believe you can change
I
your
think you
identity.
can, yeah. I think you can start over. I think you can, particularly say if you, I think, oh yeah, I just think you can. If you believe, if say you're a child and you're taught by your parents that you're a failure, you're this, you're that, and that's what you believe is your identity, then when you go out into the real world and you start perhaps understanding yourself as a separate entity from your parents, say, you'll realize, and this is from I suppose, a trauma aspect, then you will understand that you're not a failure, that you're not this, you're not like, you're whoever you want to be and you can make your own identity. And then perhaps if you've had really good parenting and you're big, you're given a autonomy from a young age and you then grow up and you've known your identity for a long time, and that could be your true identity as well, because you've been given that freedom of knowing that you are safe to be who you are as such. And therefore you don't need to change. But whereas somebody who comes from perhaps a family where they've been put down and spoken about unkindly, that's not true. So then they'll grow up thinking that's identity, but then when they do go out into the real world, and they'll realize that that's not their identity. So therefore, are they changing it, or are they just becoming themselves?
What do you think should form your identity? Like, if you had to write your identity on a bit of paper, what would be the, like, what would you ask someone if you had to say, I want to know your entire identity? What would the questions be that you would ask them?
I suppose what things are important, values as well, isn't it? I suppose, like, what things are important to you, and then what things do you identify with that are important to you? How do you live your life? Or how would you like to live your life if you're not there now? And then say you're not in the identity that you want to be in. Say that you're, in between doing something that you want to do. For example, transitioning careers. Like, your identity is not, say, the corporate person that you were. But you're also not the, I don't know, how did you describe yesterday? Female founder.
Not me. Meghan Markle.
No, I don't know. Oh, anyway. But yeah, so, but yeah, you are at the end of the day.
Oh yeah,
For
but I
your
wouldn't
own
describe myself
business.
that as that. But that's what
Okay.
her. Well,
But yeah.
why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly. No, I think there was a thing underneath it before you mentioned Meghan Markle.
All right.
Yeah. Or maybe there wasn't. Maybe it was related to that. Anyway.
Yeah, Confessions of a Female Founder. That's her podcast title.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, I think I read that, and then after. Anyway, so yeah, but yeah, exactly. So why wouldn't you say that you are, or why wouldn't you identify as a female founder? But I suppose that's what. How would you go about it?
I don't know. I think that identity is the things that aren't so changeable, like literally like the kind of birth certificate, driving license things, like age, sex, probably
Like bare bones,
daughter,
that would be, wouldn't it?
sibling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think even
What, and that would be it. So I'm a female, 46-year-old. Yeah, I'm 46. 46-year-old female
mother.
from Essex, mother.
But then yeah, like,
There's more to me than that.
yeah, there is loads more to you than that. But is it your identity?
I think I'm even more confused than when we first started.
What I'm confused about is, not confused, but some people take a lot of stuff onto their identity, and some people also want to change their identity quite a lot. And
but as you get older, do you not think that you change, that your identity changes? Like,
well, that's what I'm wondering, if identity, if there's a different word for that. Like, I do think there's all these other categories, like you said, like your values and your what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy.
Here, identity statuses. James Marcier's identity statuses. So identity diffusion is unsure and uncommitted. Foreclosure, adopted others' expectations without question. Moratorium, actively exploring. And then identity achievement, intentional choice.
I can see why people I think when people take things on as their identity, like, I clearly don't take stuff on as my identity, and I don't find life as difficult as some people, and I'm quite black and white about things. And I'm thinking now, a lot of the people I see who find life a bit of a struggle are people who do take stuff on as their identity. I'm just thinking, and rather than saying I enjoy doing this, they're like, that's who I am. Like, I've got a friend who likes to travel and has not been able to travel for a while and is now going traveling again. And rather than just recognizing travel as something that they enjoy and need to kind of have in their life because they enjoy it, they're kind of like, that's who I like. It's their identity to be traveling. And I wonder if life can become quite difficult when you make things part of your identity, because you don't recognize it as it just being something you enjoy, so therefore you don't necessarily actively make time for it because you've just taken it on. You kind of lose control a bit maybe when you make something your identity. Even like the social constructs, like we talked about before, like when you make a label your identity, you lose control of that label. Like, you lose control of being able to move away from it. You lose control of being able to make it better or worse.
So do you think your identity has always been the same?
Yeah, but I don't think my personality or my likes or my dislikes or my values or
Because
my
they're different
personality
layers.
has always been the same. I literally would strip my identity to my age and my gender, and that I'm a like a daughter, and I guess now a mother and a sister. Even those three are kind of questionable because people do.
Here you go. If you could introduce yourself without mentioning your job, relationships, or pasts, what would you say? So then, yeah, that would be 46-year-old mother of one.
Female.
Well, yeah, I'd have to be a mother, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Don't think I need to say that.
There you go. It's even less.
Yeah. So someone without kids are just 46-year-old female. Simple. So is that it then? Your identity is that simple?
In my world, I don't think it's that simple. In other people's worlds, in the slightest.
No, I don't think it is in mine. I don't think it is in my world. I want to live in your world. Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Look
Okay.
on your birth certificate at the end. That's your identity.
Yeah. On that note, we're going to finish because we're going over our time.
It's always a pleasure.
Because we started a little later. See you next time.
Yeah.
Together we'll grow, 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 grow. Grow together we'll grow, grow, grow.